Hello, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon Arizona Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. for now, Eastern. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. I am proud to be sponsored by BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, Better, B-E-T-T-E-R, help.com. They are an international company and they can get you into a therapist if you are in the UK and you cannot get in for like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months. Get on to betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez. I will put the hyperlink down in the video description. So they are international. If you're outside the US, they can hook you up with a counselor from here in the States. They can hook people up in your state. If you're in the US, you're in a rural area and you want to get to an online counselor that is not in your town, that's another plus. So, I've been hearing from a lot of people, I'm in a small town, I don't like the counselors here, or I don't want to run into them, what can I do? Or, oh my gosh, I'm in a foreign country and I don't like the mental health services, what can I do? betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez. There you go. Alrighty then, let's talk about questions. Okay, so these are the questions from last week. Why can't I trust anyone? I suspect everyone of lying and having a malicious agenda, even people I've known for years. That is totally normal, guys. When we come off of an abusive relationship, we don't trust. We don't. And it's because there's no reason to. I mean, think about, good Lord, my glasses are dirty. Think about it. We don't trust. And trust is a really hard thing to build back up. So the first person you need to trust is yourself. So really, it's working on trusting your gut, listening to your instincts, trusting that gut intuition. That's really the first person you need to start getting back into relationship with is yourself, and learning to trust your own gut instincts, your own feelings, your own intuitions. Because what does an abuser do? They march in and they go, you don't know that, you don't want that, you don't believe that, you don't feel that, you don't. And then we come out of the relationship going, who am I? What? Who? So trust is a really hard thing to build back up. Plus the fact, trust is earned. Trust is earned. So when people around you break your trust, that's a red flag. That's kind of okay, wait a minute. Did they just break one of my deal breakers? What's going on? So you really have to take a look at, is this person trustworthy? What does your gut say? Don't listen to your head. Don't listen to your heart. Listen to your gut. Because remember, the head and the heart tell stories. Well, yes, but, story, story, story. No, but, story, story, story. Whereas the gut is a simple, yeah, no. That's it. There's no story. So if you're hearing a lot of story, you're in your head or you're in your heart. You're not in your gut. So trust is earned. They have to show you that they are trustworthy. And if they are not, believe them the first time and boop, bye-bye, bye-bye now, bye-bye. Have a nice life, bye-bye. Do you see where I'm going with that? So it's normal to have a certain amount of distrust, but I think it's because we don't trust ourselves. We haven't learned to trust the gut yet. So get with a good therapist, especially a good trauma therapist, and start working on self-esteem. The Self-Esteem Workbook, Glenn Schiraldi. The Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker, Boundaries, Boundaries. Write your list of deal breakers. And the second somebody busts through one of those deal breakers, okay, they've shown me who they are. Bye-bye. Not trusting them again. Do you see where I'm going with that? So it's common for us to come out of an abusive relationship and not have trust. But the problem of it is we need to trust ourselves first. Before we can trust anybody else, we have to learn to trust that gut instinct. So work on that. My ex is a dark triad psychopath. He possibly could be a pedophile. Ooh, okay. Young kids still have to stay with him for visits. They are on state insurance and need counseling with someone understanding. Limited money, what do I do? All right, so if they are on state insurance, you would need to go through your state insurance and see if there are trauma counselors and especially trauma counselors that work with kids, there should be. When you are interviewing them, you want to make sure that they are trauma informed, that they understand high conflict divorce. Speak your fears. You know, if this person is an abuser and you think that they may have some pedophile issues going on, you definitely want to bring that to the counselor's attention so that the counselor knows what to look for. So, and trust your gut. Again, if you get with a counselor that's like clueless, don't go with them. You know, if you have to use your insurance, go through the state insurance, find a counselor that way. If you have limited funds, this is where it gets sticky, because you're going to need to find somebody who understands trauma and who is on the lookout for abuse. So it's going to have to be a trauma-informed counselor, whichever way you go. You could try Catholic Charities. They do have a sliding scale. I know Jewish Family Services also has a sliding scale. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to check around and see where you can find sliding scales. Check with your insurance, see if you can go through your insurance. That would be the most cost-effective way to do it. But either way, you want to make sure that the counselor is trauma-informed and that they understand high conflict divorce and that they are understanding that you're concerned that there may be sexual abuse going on. So, whew, yeah, so that's that. Okay. Could you do a show covering old narcissists and hoarding and how this impacts the family? Yeah, I can. Let me make a note. It's going to be a few weeks though, so just to let you know. So briefly, okay, let me start this one. Briefly, hoarding is OCD. It's part of the OCD. It's also part of PTSD. It's a way to feel safe gathering stuff to you. So yeah, I can talk more about that. And oftentimes it's rooted in, say it with me, trauma, abuse. So yeah, I can do a show on that, but it's going to be a few weeks. So bear with me on that one. Okay. And it impacts the family horribly because the hoarder doesn't listen, won't get rid of things. If you try to get rid of something, oh, well, but I need that, because they've assigned an emotional value to this bent, rusty nail. And that's what they do. And it comes from lack and scarcity, and it comes from fear. It's fear-based. So, yeah, it tears families apart. It breaks up marriages. It does all sorts of things. So, yeah, I can talk about that, but it's going to be a few weeks. Can you talk about boosting self-worth while healing from narcissistic abuse? Okay, well, every single video is about that. So basically, it is you do the mirror work daily. Daily. You do the mirror work daily. You work on the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi, or you get You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. You work on Boundaries with The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker, or you get Codependent No More, Beyond Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie, or anything by Pia Melody. You know, any of those would be good. And you keep working on getting that internal critic. I did a video a couple of weeks ago about, you know, getting rid of the shame and the guilt, getting rid of the internal critic, telling it goodbye. That's what you have to work on. Writing and burning letters, doing the work. It's not just going to come magically, guys. And this is why I'm talking about the time frame or what to expect while you're healing, because people, you know, it's like, this is painful. I hate it. I want it over with. I read through the book. I read it in 1 week. No, you didn't. You skimmed it. You didn't do the work. Do the work. And people want to avoid the work because it's painful. But here's the deal. You do the work, you confront the pain, you work through, process, all that sort of fun stuff. You're so much better. You're on the other side. And it doesn't trigger you the way it used to. But if you sit there and deny, oh, nope, don't want to take it. I don't want to see the pink elephant. No, I'm not looking at the pink elephant. I'm not thinking about the pink elephant. What are you thinking about the whole time? The pink elephant. So might as well just address the pink elephant, wrestle it to the ground, get her done, you know, and then it's done. It's over. You keep processing, but it doesn't affect you in the same way. So yeah, you got to work on yourself daily. It's got to be a daily thing. Mirror work, daily. Working in the self-esteem, daily. Meditation, you know, positive affirmations, writing and burning, journaling, all of that. You're worth it. You're worth it. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have time for that. Oh, you don't have time for yourself? Really? That's a self-esteem issue. Why? Why are you not making time for yourself? What's the excuse? Who's telling you you cannot make time for you? Might want to take a look at that. So yeah, so go back and look at the ones that I've done on, I've done ones on self-esteem. I've done ones on telling the shame and the guilt goodbye. It's all self-esteem work. It's really, that is the key. I keep telling everybody this. It's self-esteem work is what's going to keep you healthy and keep you pretty much bulletproof to abusers, because when they come along, your self-esteem, your gut is going to kick in and be like, oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. Do you see where I'm going with that? So, yeah. Okay. Can you talk more about how gaslighting "you're too sensitive" is wrong, yet books like Shahida's refer to survivors as highly sensitive people? I'm confused. All right, I want you to hear the difference. You're too sensitive. You're too sensitive. You're too sensitive. So that's like a judgment. That's like you don't have a right to be sensitive. Whereas highly sensitive means, wow, you are highly sensitive. You feel deeply, and you have a right to that emotion. You are highly sensitive, and that's okay. Now, if it's used by an abuser, they'll use it snarkily. So it's all in the intonation, okay? So highly sensitive people, it means they feel deeply, okay? But when somebody comes at you and goes, oh, well, you're just highly sensitive. You're too sensitive. That's a judgment. Can you hear that? Because I sure as heck can. So it's a judgment. So highly sensitive means you are highly sensitive. You are feeling. You are a deep feeler. And that's a good thing, I think. I wish the world had more deep feelers, because there wouldn't be as many jackasses roaming around as there is now. So that's the difference. Is it used as an attack? Is it used as a judgment? Then it is. Trust your gut. If somebody comes up at you and goes, you're too sensitive. I was just kidding. Oh. Just tell those people to hit the door. You know what I'm saying? Because they're judging you. Whereas it's like, wow, you feel sensitive. You feel very sensitive. You're very highly sensitive. You're a deep feeler. That's okay. You have a right to your feelings. So here's the deal. Narcissists and abusers do not like it when people feel, because they don't. Let me just say that again. Narcissists and abusers do not like it when people feel, because they don't. So they have to make us wrong for having actual real emotions, okay? Because they don't feel it. So they feel inadequate, and therefore they have to put us one down. And that's where the whole, oh, well, you're too sensitive. I was just kidding. Nastiest things have been said, just kidding. And it's abuse. It's abuse. If somebody's being snarky, mean, nasty, and hiding it behind just kidding, or you're too sensitive, you're taking this the wrong way, you guns, oh, hell no. That is a judgment. So do you see the difference? So highly sensitive just means you feel highly, deeply, strongly. And that's okay. No judgment. Whereas you're too sensitive. I was just kidding. That's a judgment. That's a judgment. Do you see the difference? So think about that and listen to how people use those terms. If it's used as an attack, it is. If it feels like an attack, it is. Trust your gut, 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 trust your gut. I'm going to start a song, rap song, trust your gut, trust your gut. Seriously, trust your gut. It never lies to you. It never does. Okay, hope that answered the question. Okay. I'm confused about forgiveness and acceptance. Some say you are supposed to forgive people, but, okay, here's the deal. Forgiveness and acceptance has nothing to do with the other person. It really doesn't, and I know that's a hard concept to kind of wrap our heads around, but here's the deal. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about us. So there's a difference between having compassion and idiot compassion, and Pema Chodron talks about this. So with my dad, he was an abuser. Abso-freaking-lutely. Do I forgive him? Well, I don't forgive him in that, he had a choice, and he chose not to, but I understand why he did what he did, because of his family, because of what was going on. However, I do not allow him to live up here rent-free one more minute. I forgive him in that part. It's like, I don't need to keep him up here. Goodbye. Forgive you. I get it. I have compassion for you. I see where you came from. I understand why you did what you did. And I don't need to keep punishing you in my head, because that just keeps you in my head. Do you see where I'm going? It's not about the other person. It's about us. It's about letting go. It's about, okay, I dig it. This is why you did this. Or maybe there is no reason why you did this. You're just crazy. Okay, well, you know what? That's your problem, not mine. Vaya con Dios. Hasta la vista. Do you see where I'm going with that? And you let them go. They don't get to live rent-free in your head one more minute. When we hang on to anger and resentment, right? And we're wanting to punish them. We want them to acknowledge what they did. We want them to apologize, and we want them to change, and we want them to whatever. Can you control another person? No, you can't. So you have two options. You either hang on to the resentment, which is like picking up two hot coals, intending to throw them at somebody else. Who's the other one, only one getting burned? You are. Do you see where I'm going with that? Or you can go, okay, you know what? It's screwed up. I don't like it. They did this, and this. They are not a good person. I can forgive in that I understand where they are coming from, why they did what they did. They're crazy, or they had a bad family, or whatever. However, I do not need to have them around me, and I do not need to have them living in my head anymore. I don't need to keep them alive up here to fix them. So the big moment for me is when my counselor and I realized that I was hanging on to the anger about my dad to keep him alive, because he died. He died, and there was no, I mean, we had an okay relationship by the time he died, but I was still trying to fix him. And the way I was trying to fix him was by still being angry at him. And all I was doing was making me unhappy. So I had a choice at that point. I could either let him go, like, vaya con Dios, dude, good luck, God bless. Or I could hang on to that anger and continue to be bitter and continue to be angry and continue to play the victim. No, I'm not a victim, and I'm not going to do that. And I'm also not going to let my dad live rent-free in my head. Sorry, not happening. Have a nice life. Bye-bye. Or nice afterlife, whatever. Do you see where I'm going with that? So sometimes we do that. Sometimes we stay angry at them as a way to keep them alive, or as a way to try to fix them. You know, our minds love to try to fix things. We love puzzles. You know, can I fix this? How can I fix it? No, let them go. Let them go. That's really what acceptance and forgiveness is about. It's not about the other person. It's about you. It's about you living your best life. It's about you living your best life. You cannot live your best life if you got somebody else living up here. Let me say that again. You cannot live your best life if you've got somebody else living up here. Your headspace is yours, and you get to do with it as you so choose. And I really strongly recommend you choose to have a good, healthy, happy, clean headspace that does not have abusers. So that's what forgiveness is about. That's what acceptance is about. It is what it is. It happened. Can't change it. It's done. It's a done deal. You know, if we were all Doctor Who, love that show, we could time travel and try to fix things, but we don't have a TARDIS. We can't time travel. It's done. So that's what acceptance is. Acceptance is, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, that's why it's in AA as well. It is what it is. So what can we do? Well, okay, I can't fix them. I can't change them. I can't heal them. I can't bring them back from the dead. All I can do is get them out of my head, accept it, forgive to the extent of, I dig why you did it, you know, compassion versus idiot compassion. Idiot compassion is, I'm going to keep you with me and I'm going to fix you. Oh, I'm going to allow you to keep abusing me so I can figure out how to fix you. That's not compassion. That's idiot compassion. So you cannot love them into health. You cannot love them into sanity. You let them go. You let them go. So that's what compassion and forgiveness and acceptance is really all about. It's not about them. It's about you. So remember that. A couple of great books would be Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach, and she apparently has a series of them. There's 3 books. Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping. That's a great one because some of us have a really hard time with letting go of revenge because our abusers have taught us to be vengeful because they are. And we're not them, so we don't want to do that. So you want to let that crap go. So Radical Acceptance, Tara Brach, Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping. 2 really great books. Actually, 4 really great books because Tara Brach has got a series. So, okay. Okay, but I keep thinking if I really didn't do anything, they wouldn't do all this. So maybe I did a thing and I don't admit it. Every single abuse survivor thinks that. Every single abuse survivor thinks it's me. I must have done something. I must have deserved this somehow. And boy, howdy, does that connect back to family of origin. If we were raised by a family where we were the scapegoat and we were always wrong or bad or in trouble or whatever, we automatically assume that it's us. It's not. It's not. And you know that because you start having a real serious come to Jesus meeting with yourself. Did I do something? Did I do this? No, I didn't. This didn't warrant this extreme reaction. What the hell? Normal people don't act like that. You start analyzing it and you start comparing healthy reactions to what's going on. Does a healthy, normal parent blow up at the smallest thing? No, they don't, So it's really a matter of, that's a codependent response. It really is. Start working on codependency with The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. So yeah, it's not always some person's fault. It's not. And I love it when I say I love it, I mean the polar opposite. But when abusers target a scapegoat and everything is that kid's fault, or everything is that spouse's fault, or everything is that person's fault. And I'm just sitting here going, nope, not possible, And then you have to explain to the target of abuse, that's not possible. Not everything in the world is your fault. Starving children in China, not your fault. But abusers love to be like, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. So watch out for the you guns, guys. That's a really good clue. You're being gaslit. You. That's what abusers do. Okay. I filed and my ex abused me more, which is normal, but was super wonderful to mutual friends. I'm weeding out the friends, but need suggestions. The friends don't understand why everyone can still be friends. Okay, I don't know if that just wasn't written right. You cannot be friends with an abuser because they are not friendly. Let's take a look at that. Friends don't abuse each other. Friends don't lie to each other. Friends don't gaslight each other. Friends don't try to hurt each other. Friends don't do things that are going to end a friendship. Real friends. Do you see where I'm going with that? So, when you're divorcing an abuser, there are going to be certain people who are going to be flying monkeys. That's just the crappy part of it, is there are going to be some people that are like, but why can't everybody get along? And why can't da-da-da-da-da-da-da? So there's two types of flying monkeys. There's either the Pollyanna ones that just cannot wrap their head around abuse. Like they don't get it because it's just not in their wheelhouse, right? And then there are the ones who are addicted to drama, love the drama, live for the drama, and are minor narcissists themselves. So once after having explained the abuse that you went through, and they're still demanding that you be friends with everybody, that's when you go, adios, vaya con Dios. Oh yeah, my darling. You know what I'm saying? You just get rid of it. I don't know why that suddenly stuck in my head all day today. Vaya con Dios, my darling. But yeah, you just cut them loose, because after you've explained it to them and they don't get it, or they intentionally don't get it, that they've shown you who they are. Bye. Let them go. Okay. Okay. I had a female friend who was a narcissist survivor, and I believe that she turned out to be a narcissist herself. She told me, I am the problem. Before her, other guy said, I am super toxic. How can I know if it's me? Well, I don't know, because I don't know you. So I would strongly suggest getting with a good therapist. Get with a good therapist and explore this. It may or may not be you. Who knows? So, it's kind of like you have to be willing to explore, but not accepting of it unless and until you figure out what's going on. So in other words, abusers and flying monkeys love to tell us that we're the problem, right? But if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, this is a problem, and then somebody else comes up to you and says, hey, this is a problem, you kind of got to look at it and explore it and see if it really is a problem or if it's them. So I would strongly suggest getting with a good therapist and exploring and seeing what's going on. That's the best way to do it, Okay. My new boss treats me different from everyone else. I feel I am healing and boundaried. We're, getting good boundaries. So what clues does she have that I have codependent issues? Fear. These predators are like sharks. So you know how sharks smell blood in the water? These guys smell fear in the water. Even if it's not super obvious, You know, they pick up on nonverbal cues. They pick up on vocal cues. They do. And they look for people who are unsure of themselves. They look for people who are timid. They look for people who are needing approval or wanting approval. You know, fear. They smell fear, and they go for who they think they can pick on. So certainty is a wonderful thing to work on. Certainty, boundaries, certainty. Certainty is a part of boundaries. So boundaries is like your list of deal breakers, right? You got your list of deal breakers. You know what you won't put up with, etc. But then certainty, it's like not wavering on that. Like I've had some people come up to me and be like, oh, well, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'll look at them and I'll be like, thank you for your opinion. Meaning, I'm not changing my mind. Please kindly piss off. Do you see where I'm going with that? And they know that. And as soon as they realize I'm not going to back down and I'm not going to waver, then they're like, oh, I can't manipulate this one. I can't, you know, I can't harm this one. I can't control this one. And then they're peace out and on to their next victim. So yeah, certainty. It's like being sure, standing in certainty. Have the courage of your convictions. That is the important thing with abusers, with bosses especially. So yeah, because they seek out people who are kind of timid, a little wavering, you know, a little bit fearful, that kind of thing. So work on assertiveness, work on certainty, work on finding your voice and speaking it and not caring what the abusers are going to say or do. So start working on that. That's how they know, is they look for nonverbal cues, body language. You know, it's so funny. It's like when I'm dealing with somebody that I know is abusive or that I know is going to try to cow me, I put my hands on my hips and I stand as large as I can. Seriously. And body language speaks really loud. So people tend not to mess with me because I pretty much let it be known. Okay, bring it. Bring it. Let's just see what happens. I dare you. You know what I'm saying? And so people don't mess with me because they know that I'm not going to put up with it. And body language does speak volumes. So if you find yourself, well, you know, kind of, this is sort of what I think, watch how you say things. Watch how you say things. Are you certain when you speak or are you wavering? And if you're wavering, they're going to jump on it. If your body language is, you know, trying to protect yourself, you know, they're going to jump on it. If your body language is like, yeah, and they're not going to mess with you. So watch how you speak, literally. And when you speak with your whole body. People don't realize that. People are always like, oh, but you know, I'm really good with my voice. What's your body doing? Look at your body language right now. What are you doing with that? Because your voice is saying one thing, but your body language is saying another. So you've got to be consistent in how you speak, in your certainty. You must be certain from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Absolutely. Yep. 100%. All right. So there's that. Can a narcissist also be codependent? Yes. You can be comorbid with anything. Seriously. You can have narcissism and depression. You can have narcissism and anxiety. You can have narcissism and codependency. Yeah, absolutely. You can have both. My father has traits of deeply narcissistic and somewhat sadistic, but also functions as my malignant borderline mother's enabler and enforcer. Yeah. It's called comorbidity. So you can have both. And you can have both narcissism and bipolar, or narcissism and borderline, or narcissism and any diagnosis in the book, basically. So yeah, you absolutely can be both. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Where am I? Is emotional dysregulation a NARC or BPD trait? Kind of both, but mostly borderline. So narcissists intentionally use anger to manipulate and control. With borderlines, it's more of a learned behavior, a knee-jerk reaction. Because remember, borderline has traits of all of the major personality disorders, plus the extra added bonus of psychotic thinking. So when they're further down the line. So with the emotional dysregulation, they don't know how to cope. They don't have the coping skills. That's why DBT is so wonderful for borderline, because it gives them the coping skills to be like, okay, wait a minute, I need to question this thought. Okay, wait a minute, I need to breathe. Okay, wait a minute, I'm assuming that they're meaning this. I need to stop. Wait a minute. Do you see where I'm going? Because their fear reaction is so, because it's all based in trauma. So theirs is more, it's more dysregulation, is more borderline, but narcissists do it with the anger, but I think that's on purpose. I really do. No, you cannot scream at somebody. You cannot. You can choose. So, and they choose to, because it's a manipulation control. So there's that. Okay. There is that. All right. Well, that's all the questions. So, the great questions, guys. So this week on We Need to Talk, I am going to be talking about what to expect as you start healing from narcissistic abuse. What can you expect as you heal? You know, like kind of what are the stages? What could possibly pop up so that you're not surprised when things start happening? So, all right, that's that. I will talk to you soon. Bye.